Hi folks, this is Hariom for CBNR. This is our fourth video on muscles, I suppose. Today we are going to talk about muscle tightness and contraction. Remember in the stretching video we have been talking about how the nervous system makes the muscle tighter by shifting the threshold for stretch reflex and things like that. What we will have asked is, will there not be any change in the peripheral, that is in the muscle itself? Of course it changes in the muscle itself, but that takes it takes long time for the muscle to change, that is peripheral changes to happen. So today we are going to talk about peripheral changes, especially in UMN lesion. LMN lesion, that is sort of self-explanatory, I suppose. So we are going to talk about in UMN lesion. And one of the common muscles to get tighter or go into contraction is your soleus and gastrocnemius. So today we will look into why the muscle goes for tightness, and is it of any value for us to have a tighter muscle than sort of a normal length muscle, if you will, right? Right, so this is your gastrocnemius and soleus, as you all know. We are going to concentrate on one part of working of your gastrocnemius and your soleus. That is during mid stance, right? When your tibia sort of moves forward along with your body, gravity is also pulling you downwards. Hence, to balance that, you will have activation of your plantar flexors in an eccentric fashion, that is your gastrocnemius and soleus, right? Again, I have taken in my hand TheraBand as analogous to a muscle, right? So if this is the length of the muscle, right? This part is your origin and this is your insertion, right? When the muscle gets tighter, remember the other day we said that it goes like this, right? Via your the nervous system, making it tighter. But it keeps on being like this for a long time. Here also changes happens, that is the muscle also changes its length, it becomes sort of tighter, right? So what is the advantage of having a tighter muscle, right? Now you can again do this along with me or do it afterwards. If you keep in any position, right, hold the position and do this and then stretch it, right, and then bring it closer and then try to stretch it. Remember, it is the same TheraBand, but if I bring it closer and stretch it, it is harder than when I do it here, right? So it sort of makes it feels as though the same structure, right, the same elastic fibers in this makes it feel as though it is stronger. So what the brain does in a human lesion is, cleverly, for lack of activity or poor activation of your plantar flexors, right, they are weak naturally in a human lesion. So what they do is, as a compensation for the weakness, the brain sort of makes the muscle shorter by keeping it in a shortened position for a long time. So the muscle changes its properties, it becomes shorter. And when you're walking and when your tibia is moving forward like this, right, a weak gastrocnemius might find it to give a good balance or a good counteractive force for the forward momentum of your tibia along with your whole body, right? But a tight gastrocnemius might be able to, Might be. It's not a full-on adaptation which can overcome everything, but better adaptation, right? It helps you in counteracting that force. So in many instances, right, the adaptation of tightness might be a helpful phenomenon also, right? Not always, but sometimes. So you need to have those things in mind when you are thinking about tighter muscles and things like that, right? If the muscle becomes slightly shorter or tighter, right, it can produce, or it will give a bigger resistance to your movement, right? It will look as though they are actually stronger. So when you are walking in the stance phase, the tibia is moving like this, right? The tibia is moving like this, and your plantar flexors are eccentrically contracting, right? Remember, in a human lesion, the plantar flexors are weaker, right? So they are finding it difficult to control it eccentrically. Their balance produced by your plantar flexors is not that great, right? So what your system tries to do is they make it shorter, right? They make the plantar flexor shorter so that when they are contracting eccentrically, it is harder. The resistance they give you is more, right? So that it helps you in better balance when you're walking. So what's the application lesson here is, you should not be just thinking of, okay, the plantar flexors are tight, so I'm going to stretch, 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 stretch. Remember, it is tight because it is also weaker. So you need to have a better understanding of, that is, I need to treat the weakness and then worry whether I'm going to stretch the muscle, right? Without strengthening your plantar flexors, you cannot change your tightness, right? Thank you very much. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. It's easy.